Alright, Schlockmeister fans, I'm looking forward to this one, a re-review from my previous channel. This one's called Shockwaves, Underwater German Nazi Soldiers. Let's check it out.
Before the start of World War II, the German High Command began a secret investigation into the powers of the supernatural. Ancient legend told of a race of warriors who used neither weapons nor shields.
Actress Brooke Adams.
I don't know how long that dinghy floated around with me lying in it. All I can remember is the sound of the water slapping against the side.
She plays Rose, and she's on this boat. It's a dive boat. She's like a tourist. She's with some other people too. And something happens, and they end up going through this orange haze. John Carradine. He's the captain. Next thing you know, they're lost.
You have any idea where we are?
That's Sandy from Flipper on the right.
In the meantime, keep checking the radio and keep your eyes peeled.
And then out of the darkness of night, they spot this giant boat, which suddenly rams them.
Has everyone gone crazy?
Don't you know? We've been hit by a ghost.
They're damaged now, and the next day they see the boat that hit them, but it doesn't make any sense. That's clearly shipwrecked.
It's moving down on us, Dobbs.
So they find an island, and then they go towards it, and then that's John Carradine's body. Guess something happened to him. They spot a pretty large structure.
Looks like our trip up here was for nothing.
Must have been one hell of a job.
Meanwhile, underwater, we see the first shot of our underwater Nazi zombies. Somebody's watching them.
Why have you come to this place? I am waiting.
Can't see him clearly, but of course that's Peter Cushing, and
Do you know
he's
it?
going to briefly allow them to stay.
What about getting off the island?
Meanwhile, outside, our underwater Nazi zombies are coming out. And they grab another victim. Who was shortly discovered by the bikini-clad Rose.
Now it is too late.
Did you kill Dobbs?
Yes, I killed him. And your captain too, perhaps. But not in the way you think. It was indirect. In a good number of pathological murderers and sadists as well. We call them the Totenchor, the Death Corps. Creatures more horrible than any you can imagine. I want you to leave. If I see any of you at all, I will shoot on sight. I think that's pretty clear.
So he sees the zombies he helped create, the Death Corps. But even he's not immune. That's the last we see of him. So anyway, they find a little sailboat and they're trying to get away. One of the chicks falls in the water. And then they happen to see the Death Corps is after them. In the confusion, Rose fell out of the boat. She was the only one in the boat. And it must have been a strong wind that day because it carried that sailboat away. Fuck. So they're all back on the island again, and Peter Cushing ain't gonna kill him, but his creations will. Rose has a run-in with one of them, and she finds out if you take off their shades, that's pretty much their kryptonite. This guy's gonna fall over and collapse. So these three have locked themselves in a room somewhere with a flare gun, and Chuck starts to panic.
I open and close that door, one of them might hear it. Then where will we be?
So they let him out, but then in the chaos, the flare gun went off. Now they're all choking. They got to get out of there, so they're vulnerable again. Chuck ends up in a swimming pool where he becomes the next victim. This woman who I kind of forgot about, I think her name is Beverly. That guy doesn't even have his shades. Well, I believe Beverly was the next victim because there she is in the fish tank. Anyway, our last two survivors, Rose and Keith, they find a little rowboat and they're off. Well, Keith managed to survive that first attack, but he ain't going to make it back from number 2. He's under, and that's the last we see of him, leaving just Rose on the boat like we saw at the beginning of the film. We confirm his death because we have a glass-bottom rowboat.
I don't remember any of it at all.
Alright, let's talk about Shockwaves. This movie actually was on cable. Oh god, I think it was March of 1982, or maybe it was April of 1982. The very first month we had cable was March, actually. I remember when I was going to watch the movie one day, and all of a sudden the cable guide for next month came. It was dropped off, and then the paper boy, who was somebody I went to school with, came by to deliver a paper, and I was out on the porch, and we decided to go in my backyard and look at the cable guide from next month. So because of that, I missed watching Shockwaves, which I was planning to watch that afternoon when I was a little kid. But I did catch it several years later when I rented it and copied it. I had it on a beta tape with a couple other movies. I don't know if I actually watched it at that time, though, but I did watch it a few times over the years, and I watched it again. And this is I've kind of gone back and forth on this movie. It's kind of a movie I thought was really good at one time, and then I watched it again, and maybe it wasn't so good. Watched it again today, and I kind of liked it again. I think what I really like about it is the vibe, the soundtrack, and just the overall atmosphere of this film is really kind of creepy. We have some people here who are on like a tourist boat. There's maybe 6 people or so. And John Carradine is the captain. And they go through this orange haze. And the next thing you know, they're lost. And in the middle of the night, they get rammed by this giant ghost ship, I guess they called it, this black ship. The next day, they have engine trouble. Obviously, the boat's not operating. They see the ship that hit them, but it's like this wreck that ran ashore years earlier. It's clearly been there a long time, and so they end up going to this island nearby. They find this like abandoned hotel or something where Peter Cushing is staying, and he's like, "Why are you here? You must leave." And then we start seeing these underwater Nazi zombies. That's what Shockwaves is all about. And they come out of the water and they basically kill you. Peter Cushing explains that he was part of the German Army, Navy, whatever, back in the day during World War II. And he helped create the Toten Corps, the Death Corps. And I don't know how he explained it. They're not quite living, not quite dead. They're kind of like zombies. They were able to kill and attack without weapons. And they've been underwater, I guess at this point, it'd been 30 years. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, the zombies then start killing everybody. They kill Peter Cushing. Ultimately, we're left with 2 people, Rose and Keith. Keith was played by Luke Halpin. I remember him as the older boy, Sandy, on Flipper back in the early 60s. And Rose, played by Brooke Adams. The 2 of them managed to escape in a little rowboat. But as they're leaving, Keith gets attacked, gets pulled under, drowns, he's done. And then we know, because it's a flashback from the very beginning of the movie, she actually got rescued, and the last thing in the movie is her like writing her story down on a paper while she's in the hospital. End of movie. So there you go. Again, I really like this movie today. Again, I think it's the atmosphere. It's kind of creepy soundtrack, and it's just kind of, I don't know, it's just got this overall cool vibe. I like the isolation of this island, and nobody else is around, just an abandoned place with Peter Cushing there. It was kind of cool. And I like the underwater shots of the zombies too. We see them walking around underwater, walking on various shipwrecks or whatever the hell was underneath there. It was just kind of cool watching them, and yeah, I like it. So the best of the Nazi zombie movies, yeah, I guess so. I can only think of one other one, which is Zombie Lake, which I reviewed earlier, and that's a piece of shit. So this is actually a pretty good movie. So it took me years to watch this because of Sean Picard coming over and dropping off my newspaper, but other than that, yeah, I like the movie. I'm glad I did eventually see it, and I've seen it a few times over the years, and I recommend it. So check it out. This is a DVD from Blue Underground, and don't know if it's ever been released on Blu-ray since then, although I wouldn't be surprised if it has. I'll leave a link down below to one of the two, and you should check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about Shockwaves. Watch it. Bye. The Toten Core. The Death Core.